Live from Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York, Sports Channel presents Mets Baseball. Tonight, the Mets take on the Montreal Expos. The starting pitchers for the game. For the Expos, making his first appearance in the major leagues, Sergio Valdez, and with a record of no wins and no losses, of course. And for the Mets, Ron Darling with a record of 12-5, an earned run average of 3.11. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Fran Healy and Tim McCarver, all set for the final meeting between the Montreal Expos and the New York Mets here at Shea Stadium. The Expos have won the first 2 games of the 3-game series, and the Mets coming into this ball game with a magic number of 4. The Expos have a magic number of 3, but of course that's almost academic, as they really do not have a chance. But they are battling the Mets tough, and they've been hitting the Mets well. It'll be Ron Darling going for the Mets. He has no record against the Expos this year. He has started twice against them.
And it's got to be rough, Ralph, when you're a ball club like the Montreal Expos, playing good baseball most of the year, playing the Mets pretty tough. They lost some key ball players, and even though they're 7-7 against the Mets, they find themselves 23 games out of first place. So obviously a Mets year, and the Mets with an opportunity to wrap it up in Philadelphia at the Vet this coming weekend. So I'm sure a lot of people heading from New York to the Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Well, of course, the Chicago Cubs have helped out the Mets as they defeated Philadelphia today. So the Cubs have swept the series from the Phillies, and they have dropped that magic number down 3 notches. So it has helped the Mets with the Cubs winning. Good crowd on hand, a perfect night for baseball. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the ball game in just a moment, right after this message.
Hi, I'd like to start getting home delivery of the New York Times.
Get a head start on your day by having the New York Times delivered to your home every morning. And if you call now, you'll get 50% off the regular home delivery price.
I enjoy waking up and having the New York Times waiting for me. I know it'll tell me things I won't hear, read, or see anywhere else.
I read Business Day first thing. Gives me the story behind the scenes and who the players are.
For just $3.60 a week, you'll get insights into politics, business, and international news. And each Sunday, you'll get the book review, travel, arts and leisure, week in review, and the celebrated New York Times Magazine.
Hi, I'd like to order home delivery of the New York Times.
Times doesn't just report on the issues, it helps me to understand them. And that's important when I'm making decisions that'll affect my family.
So call now, 1-800-357-4818, and get the New York Times delivered to your home every morning.
I can't imagine starting my day without it.
The largest casino in the entire world, now has the world's largest smoke-free casino. Come play, win, have the time of your life. Experience the wonder of the Connecticut woods.
Ron Darling making his 29th start of the year. He has won 12 and lost 5 with an earned run average at 3.11. And Darling has worked 194 innings, given up only 173 hits while striking out 148 and walking 64. His lifetime record against Montreal, 3 wins and 3 losses.
And Ron Darling will face that lineup right there. Tom Foley at second base leading off. He'll be followed by Mitch Webster, the left fielder, then Tim Raines. And check that, Mitch Webster's in center field. Left field, Tim Raines. Right field, Andre Dawson. Third baseman, Wayne Krenchicki. Andres Galarraga at first base. Shortstop, Luis Rivera. Will Tejada doing the catching, and Sergio Valdez on the mound.
And defensively for the Mets, it's Hernandez, Backman, Santana, and Knight. First to third base, Wilson, Dykstra, and Strawberry left to right, and Gary Carter the catcher. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Mets and Sports Channel is prohibited. Announcers on this telecast were selected by Sports Channel and approved by the Mets. And we do have a lineup change for Montreal. Andre Dawson has been scratched from the lineup, Wayne Krenchicki will bat in the 4th batting position. Andres Galarraga will move up to the next position in the batting order, and Herm Winningham will be in right field, replacing Andre Dawson. So Ron Darling with a lifetime record of 41-23 on the mound for the Mets, and the first pitch of the ball game, ball 1. Foley hitting at .284 for the year, 1 home run and 20 runs batted in. And he is 2 for 10 in this series, batting .167 all season long against the Mets, and the fastball a swinging strike. And Darling has to do an acrobatic jump to take the throwback from Gary Carter. Didn't hold on to it. Inconsequential.
Some catchers have a problem throwing back to the pitcher a lot. Not Gary Carter. Boy, that's a psychological problem. We've seen it with Steve Sachs, the second baseman with the Dodgers.
Dale Murphy was a catcher for a while, and they said if second base had been in center field, he would have made a great catcher. That pitch fouled off, so the count 1-2 on Tom Foley. Foley started his career with Cincinnati.
You know, I talked to Dale Murphy about that problem, and he said that he enjoyed catching, and the only reason he had to get out from behind the plate was because he couldn't throw the ball to second base. But he liked it.
Of course, he would have been a powerful hitting catcher.
Oh boy.
2-2 the count. And a ground ball to the first baseman, Keith Hernandez. He throws to Darling for the out. This series, the Montreal Expos have been clobbering the Mets pitching. They had 19 hits last night and 16 hits the night before. The umpires for this game: Frank Pulley behind home plate, Joe West at first base, John McSherry the umpire at second base, and Billy Williams the umpire at third. And the batter is Mitch Webster, and he has hit the Mets well. 4 for 10 in the series, hitting .291 for the year with 6 home runs, 43 RBIs. And he'll bunt any time. He'll bunt with no one on base. He'll bunt with runners on base. He'll bunt with 2 men out. He'll bunt anytime.
He has 9, as you look at right now. He has 9 base hit bunts this year. The guy on deck, Tim Raines, who is known for his great speed, has yet to get a bunt base hit here in '86.
But he does have 19 infield hits.
Yes.
And there's a pitch that is taken outside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Webster hitting .327 against the Mets this year with 18 base hits. He's hit 1 home run against the Mets. And it's ball 3, 3-0. Webster, a switch hitter and hitting better from the right-hand side, hitting .319 right-handed and .277 left-handed. Being 2 steps closer to first base has not helped him as far as his personal average goes against the pitchers. And he walks, so the first base run of the ball game.
Well, when you look at Ron Darling, you think of a guy, the way he throws with that motion, you figure he would have good control, but he's had trouble with walking batters. The reason he should have a lot of success throwing strikes is he really has a quiet body. The guys that have trouble throwing strikes are pitchers with that lively body. They're jumping all over the place. Consequently, their mechanics are fouled up. The arm and the leg are opening up too soon, and they're all over the place with the ball. But Darling doesn't have that type of mechanical motion.
And the batter is Tim Raines, hitting .333. He leads the National League in hitting, 1 point more than Tony Gwynn. 9 home runs, 56 RBIs, and he has 57 stolen bases. And the first pitch hit right at Backman. Could be a double play. They get one, but not the other. Tough man to double up with that great speed.
And a ball hit right at Backman. Taylor made double play. Santana coming across the bag, throwing a bullet to first, but Raines beating the throw. You can't hit a more tailor-made double play ball.
Number 15, Wayne.
But forget it.
So the blurring speed of Tim Raines, as you saw it right there on live TV, and Raines beats the play at first. Now he's a threat to steal as you look at the next batter, Wayne Krenchicki, who has taken over the cleanup spot in the batting order with Andres Dawson scratched. Dawson getting the game-winning home run in last night's ball game. And Raines running with a pitch, a throw by Carter, not in time.
It's like a little robot. He got a great jump off first base, those quick strides. He got to second base, head first slide. Watch this. Carter coming out, quick feet, getting the ball down there, perfect throw, forget it. Watch Raines, great acceleration. Pumping away, heading to second. Perfect slide, head first, stops on the bag, and a stolen base.
And that stolen base number 514. He's been thrown out by a catcher only 32 times. Carter got him once this year, but there's a little agenda to that one.
Yeah,
he overslid second.
Slid into second base and came off the base.
So a runner in scoring position, and the off speed, the splitter, the split finger fastball gets him with the change. Granchicki batting .258 for the year with 2 home runs, 21 RBIs. And this ball popped up into shallow left field. Santana back, but Mookie Wilson makes the call and makes the catch, and that'll do it. So the walk and stolen base do not hurt the Mets, and the score at the end of 1/2 inning with 1 man left on. Montreal nothing. The Mets coming up.
Or 1-800-JAMAICA.
Send your package in 2 days with FedEx, and people are impressed. Cost about $8.
Send your package in 2 days with UPS, and people are impressed. Cost about $6.
Send your package in 2 to 3 days with priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service, and people are impressed. Cost $3.
So, 8, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
I think we've got a talented group of guys, and hopefully we'll be able to get them together and get them to play and play to win. Jimmy Jackson is one of the most talented players in the league. A 2-guard, can post you, can shoot, and has great skills. Chris Gatling has had a fabulous year, was an all-star year. Sammy Cassell is a point guard who's got big-time courage and has played in big games and has won 2 rings. And Eric Montross is coming into his own. We're going to play fast and continue to guard and do the things we normally do.
Sergio Valdez making his major league debut at West Palm Beach this year. He won 16 and lost 6 with an earned run average of 2.47. He had 24 game starts, working 145 and 2/3 innings, giving up only 119 hits, striking out 107 and walking 46. 22 years of age.
And there's the Mets lineup, leading off Lenny Dykstra, to be followed by Wally Backman and Keith Hernandez. The middle 3, Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, and Mookie Wilson. In the bottom 3, Ray Knight, Rafael Santana, and Ron Darling.
The defense, Galarraga at first base, Foley at second, Rivera at short, Granchicki at third. Raines, Webster, and Winningham in the outfield. Dawson has been scratched, and Tahita the catcher. So a rookie battery going against the Mets here in Valdez and Tahita.
Buck Rogers will be calling those pitches all night.
And the first pitch by Valdez, a sinking fastball for ball 1. Dykstra hitting .303 with 7 home runs, 43 runs batted in. He has a 4-game hitting streak, and he's had 7 hits and 17 at bats over the 4 games. And the fastball again, ball 2.
Buck Rogers, his first manager in the major leagues, was Bill Rigney, and I'd have to say that Bill was the type of guy that would call a game. He probably figured he knew all the pitches.
Played for the LA Angels before they were called the California Angels, and before they moved to Anaheim. Played their first year in the minor league ballpark, Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, and then later on moved to Anaheim, where they had a great ballpark.
More home runs were hitting that ballpark in Wrigley Field in LA than any other major league ballpark.
It really had short fences. I hit one there when I was 13. And a walk to Lenny Dykstra, so Valdez walks his first major league batter. That'll bring up Wally Backman. Backman hitting .328 with no home runs and 26 runs batted in. He's 1 for 8 in this series.
I've got to believe that those guys getting on base ahead of Wally Backman, Lenny Dykstra, and of course Mookie Wilson have made Wally even a better hitter, getting him better pitches to hit. The only problem batting second, as we mentioned before, is that you have to take a lot of pitches with a guy on first base like Lenny Dykstra.
Dykstra leads the Mets in stolen bases with 29, a throw to first. Mets have had 104 stolen bases, not a whole lot. They've attempted the steal 148 times, and that includes hit and run plays. And there's a strike for strike one. Backman, with his average of .328, does not qualify for the batting championship. He's way off in the necessary plate appearances to do so. He would have to have 427 plate appearances at this time. He's considerably away from that, so he's not listed in the official Big Ten.
Of course, it must be a great feeling to be in the top 10 at the end of the year. As you mentioned, the official top 10.
The way they calculate that, as another throw goes to first, you have to have an average of 3.1 plate appearances. That includes walks, being hit by a pitch ball, sacrifices, what have you, per the amount of games played by the team to qualify for the batting championship.
You know something, Ralph? I think, though, if a guy's hitting .328, he doesn't care if he's in the official top 10.
He actually is third in hitting in the National League with that mark. If he did have enough plate appearances to qualify, he'd be third.
As long as the family knows about it.
Well, he knows about it.
That's
and I'm
right.
sure his wife knows about it.
That's right. And of course, make sure Frank Cashin knows about it if he doesn't.
And his agent knows about it, and his agent will make sure Frank Cashin knows about it. And that pitch fouled off, so they count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I bet that must be an interesting thing dealing with agents. Some of them I'm sure are good to deal with. Others probably not so good.
Just like ball players.
That's right. You did your own deal, I'm sure, as a player.
They wouldn't let an agent in the same building with me.
Is that right?
Oh, in those days, they wouldn't talk to an attorney or an agent. You couldn't take one in.
Did you want one?
If I thought he could get in the door, but there's no sense of paying him 10% if you get your salary if he isn't going to bargain for you.
Must be nice. I'm sure Branch Rickey would have put out the welcome mat for an agent.
I could hear Ricky right now. You say you're an agent? What's an agent? How many home runs did you hit?
I'm sure that some of those agents know something about baseball, but others, I'm sure, go right to the stats.
Well, I think most of the bargaining is done on the basis of what other players that are your contemporary do.
That's a good point. At one time, salaries were available to other players to see what exactly your colleagues were making.
2 balls and 2 strikes, and for years and years, no one ever knew what another player was making. He wouldn't divulge it, and certainly the team wouldn't. I remember when Branch Rickey said to me after he cut me $22,500, the maximum amount of money cut, he says, don't tell anybody about it. And I said, Mr. Rickey, I'm just as ashamed of this as you are. The 2-2 pitch to Backman, ball 3, and now Sergio Valdez in a position to walk his first 2 batters that he has faced in the major leagues.
Sergio Valdez has a ring to it, doesn't it? If he doesn't make it in the major leagues, he can go down to the garment center here in New York and get a brand name label and sell it.
He could be a trumpet player with a name like that. 3-2, another toss to first base. Dykstra certainly figures to be running with this pitch. The hard part here as a batter is not to swing at a ball out of the strike zone when that runner is going on a 3-2 count. And the runner goes, and the ball hit right back to the second baseman. No play at second, so the throw goes to first base, and Backman is out.
Boy, that was a great shot of Dykstra's jump off of first base, the intensity in his face, and well, he got great acceleration. Look at Dykstra go. Now Backman hits the ball to the second baseman, Tom Foley. Only 1 play, first base. That speed can drive you crazy. Dykstra with good speed, Backman hitting the ball. He just nipped him at first base.
What scares you more, a guy that can steal second base or somebody that can hit 60 home runs?
Oh, no, the guy that hits the ball over the wall will always scare, especially a guy that hits a home run and is not easy to strike out. A guy like Gary Carter can really drive you crazy because he's tough to strike out.
And here's another tough to strike out, Keith Hernandez. Keith brings an average of 306 to the plate with 11 home runs and 73 RBIs, and he looks at a breaking ball for ball one. Keith's having trouble against Montreal pitchers this year, hitting only 175 with 10 hits. He does have 7 RBIs.
There's the old pine tar on the bat. That pine tar, what is it, 18 inches above the handle? It cannot go any higher.
Keith is right at that mark, if that's the case.
He certainly is. And the way they measured, as you look at the update from the National League, final score, Chicago beat the Phillies 8-7.
And the Mets' magic number down to 3, and that ball gets away from Tejada, and going to third is Dykstra.
Well, that was an interesting, he had to be crossed up on that pitch, or it was a knuckleball. Ball hit off the heel of the glove.
Larry Bernard, the pitching coach of the Expos, looking on. That is a knuckleball there.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a nasty pitch. It bounced right off the heel of the glove.
So that's how he came to the major league so quickly. A knuckleball pitcher.
From A-ball.
A-ball, West Palm Beach, where he was 16-6. I noticed that his strikeouts weren't too high, and I wondered how he got that kind of a record without being a hard thrower. If he throws a knuckleball, that's how.
Yeah. Throw strikes. The knuckleball, if you're catching it, if all of them go the same way, they come in and it acts like that butterfly. And if it goes down all the time, it's not that difficult to catch. It's the one that goes up after 55 of them have gone down. It usually happens with the bases loaded.
2-0 pitch, and Keith laying for the fastball. Hits it hard, but he pulls it foul. Hernandez, number 2 in on-base percentage with a 406 on-base average. And he's number 6 in the National League and hitting at 306. Dykstra, the runner at third base. And a drive to right, and it is foul.
Keith hit the ball too hard.
Again, he was a little out in front as he made great contact.
And that knuckleball, if it is a knuckleball, that'll get you out in front. You know, that looked like a split-finger fastball the way he gripped that ball. We're going to have to get that camera on his hands.
Well, one thing it could be a forkball.
Yeah.
Forkball reacts like a knuckleball, and if you got a good one.
Well, the way Tejada tried to catch that pitch that hit off the heel of the glove. On the forkball, you're kind of aware that the ball's going to go down.
It won't rise. And this ball hit deep enough to score a run. It's way back there. Going, gone. Goodbye. Keith Hernandez with a 2-run home run, and the Mets lead it by 2.
Again, Keith Hernandez getting out there with the head of the bat and hitting it over the wall. And the reaction in the dugout and the fans want a curtain call.
Well, it's Keith's 12th home run of the year, 12th, and the Mets lead 2-0 in games where the Mets score the first run. They are 64-16, and now the batter will be Gary Carter, the former Expo, and the breaking ball in for a called strike. Carter having trouble against the Expos pitching.
Here it is again. There, it looks like that split-finger fastball. It is. And you saw Keith get out in front and hit the ball a long way.
And another drive, this one to left field, and a base hit. So Carter hitting 190 against the Expos coming to that at bat. Singles, and the Mets have a runner on with 1 man out, leading 2-0.
And Larry Bernard going out to talk to the young right-hander. As Ralph mentioned, 16 wins in A-ball. Brought up to start in the major leagues here in New York. A lot of times the ball club would tend to shy away from starting a kid here in New York because the big crowd, the media coverage. I remember when Steve Busby broke in with the Royals, he threw a no-hitter in Detroit, was scheduled to start against the Yankees in New York, and they kept him out of the starting rotation until we left New York. They started him in Milwaukee.
Well, Valdez just turned 22. He was 22 last Sunday, and he signed at the age of 17. He's from the Dominican Republic, and now he'll take on a much publicized ball player, Darryl Strawberry. Darryl having a very tough September, although the last few games have been very good. 2 home runs in the last 3 games. And he hits a high fly ball to right field. Winningham is there, and he makes the catch. Strawberry before the out hitting .257 for the year with 21 home runs and 75 RBIs. One of 2 National Leaguers to have 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases.
He's got a lot of talent. I know people are down on him right now, but he's got a whole lot of talent. He can play. He's big, he's strong, and he can hit the ball a long way. What, do you have more home runs than almost anybody in the history of baseball at his age?
You have to toss in Tony Conigliaro, had the most at a very young age. So first youngest to have 100 home runs.
He had a fine career when he was healthy and playing in Boston.
Now the batter is Mookie Wilson. Mookie taking the bat around in that familiar circle, and Valdez with his first pitch, and it's drilled to right, way back, going, it is gone, goodbye. Another 2-run home run, and the Mets lead it by a score of 4-0.
Fastball, and Mookie turning it over the wall. What a contrast. Looking at that kid, Valdez, many a tear in the heart never reaches the eye.
That was Mookie's 6th home run, batting left-handed. He has 9 all year, and it brings up Ray Knight hitting .295. Ray with 9 home runs and 65 RBIs. He's 10th in the National League in hitting with his average at .295. And that pitch, a ball, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets now with 129 home runs. 3rd best in their history. And their best goes back to 1962 when they played in the Polo Grounds.
Not a bad place to hit home runs if you could pull the ball.
Pull it or push it, but don't hit it to center field.
Oh, 4 balls or 3 balls were hitting the center field bleachers in the history of the Polo Grounds?
3 of them. Lou Brock, Hank Aaron, and the first was hit by Joe Adcock.
Joe did a few things over there in the Polo Grounds. Great picture of Joe Adcock chasing, was it Ruben Gomez with the bat in his hand to center field?
And then Gomez came back with a nice pick in his hand. And Ray Knight walks in a rocky start in the major leagues for Sergio Valdez, and he's not the first.
No. Well, that's tough on a kid. 16 wins in A-ball. Throw your best stuff in the big leagues and get tattooed.
You're in the majors. That's the answer, huh?
Yep.
Rafael Santana, the batter. Rafi hitting .219 with 1 home run, 29 RBIs. He's raised his average 43 points in his last 38 games. And Knight draws his throw, and he doesn't figure to be running. Phillies lead the National League at home runs with 134. The Mets now with 129. And one more rabbit died. The magic numbers down to 3. Robinson does a little step out there. 2 strikes the count.
Bill's got to be happy the way the Mets are hitting the ball.
Mets lead the National League in hitting with a .264 average.
Of course, hitting coaches tend to take a lot of credit for that. He took a lot of heat last year when they were having problems for a while. So you might as well take the credit when they're going good.
Gotta toot your whistle. And that pitch is high, a fastball. It's 1-2. Valdez in the minor leagues had a record of 30-21.
See if he goes to that split finger. Well, we're not going to see it unless he does it in the glove.
And a base hit for Santana. 8th batter to bat in the inning, and Santana singles to left, and no action in the bullpen. Might get some now as the phone is hot.
I'm sure Buck Rogers would like to have this kid build his confidence by pitching a good ball game, getting over a shaky start, but every ball's been hit pretty hard. This kid's got to be shell-shocked.
So Sergio Valdez pitching to his 9th batter in his first inning of work in the major leagues. Amron Darling, the batter, hitting 103.
If you had an ordinary 1-2-3 your first inning in the big leagues, you'd forget it. He'll never forget this start.
And the first pitch to Darling, a fastball for a called strike. Bert Roberge is now throwing in the bullpen for Montreal. And again, the fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's really nothing you can tell a pitcher like this in a situation except, you know, stay with them. The old hang with them trick.
And Darling missing the sinking fastball, 1-2. Down there rolled out the stories about how Bob Feller got rocked his, whether they're true or not, no, got rocked his first time out or whatever.
You got to make them up.
Make them up.
Sure, make the guy feel good. He'll feel like he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
And a high pop-up, and that should do it. Second baseman Tom Foley making the call and the catch, and that'll do it. So the Mets send 9 men to the plate, get 2 2-run home runs. They have 4 runs on 4 hits. 2 men were left on base, and the score at the end of 1. The Mets 4 and the Montreal Expos nothing.
Islander fans, there's a new energy and excitement at Nassau Coliseum. The Islanders are playing with passion, spirit, and hunger. Players are feeding off one another, and their attitude is contagious. But you've got to be there to feel the fire. Now's the perfect time to come back and see the Islanders. Bring your family and friends. Be part of the fast-paced fury, and come catch that feeling again. Celebrate our 25th anniversary weekend when the Islanders take on the Panthers this Saturday. We'll announce the all-time Islanders team with surprise appearances by some of the legendary alumni. Call 1-800-82-ISLES.
I'm into tennis.
The Sports Authority has everything for tennis.
I'm into baseball, too.
Everything for baseball, too.
And I play a little golf.
Golf? We got it. Plus your favorite brand names.
See if that feels more natural. Hey, these guys are really into sports, too.
And everyday low prices mean you never wait for a sale.
Hey, I'm always into saving some cash.
The Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it.
It's baseball like it ought to be, all over again. You're watching 86 Mets Curtain Call here on Sports Channel.
Top of the second, the Mets leading 4-0.
And here's what happened between innings. Valdez going into the dugout. Now he's going to have a conversation, I'm sure, with his catcher. Now he believes his own eyes. He just had a bad inning. There they go. They're going to have a conversation. Let's see what happens. When you're a catcher, you want to stay away from a pitcher after something like this happens. He might punch you right in the head.
Well, he's a rookie. He hadn't learned yet. If he were walking onto her, be careful.
That's right. He'll be at a headlock, rolling around to the floor. Hey, that's it. There's Buck Rogers talking to the catcher.
Well, Buck Rogers, a catcher himself.
What's he doing blaming the catcher?
Called the wrong pitches, obviously.
Oh, boy.
So we're in the top of the second. The Mets leading 4-0, and the leadoff batter, Andres Galarraga, hitting .266, got his 9th home run last night, and he has driven in 30. That home run last night, the first home run that he has hit since June 24th. Since he came off the DL on September 4th, he's had 9 hits and 18 at-bats.
Remember Cepeda holding those hands like that? Striding into the pitch? The baby bull. Broke in as a first baseman, Orlando Cepeda.
And that's out of the strike zone, so Darling staked to a 4-0 lead, falls behind 3-1 to his first batter here in the second. Galarraga, known as the Gran Cato, the big cat. Ground ball to third, and Knight handles a tough chance. And no chance for Galarraga as Knight comes up with a tough hop.
Well, Brooks Robinson said that if you can't field it with your glove, you got to knock it down with your body. Here's some quick hands. Ooh. And Ray Knight with quick feet getting the ball over to first base in time to get Galarraga.
Had the guts to stay in front of that thing.
Boy, he did. It's a tough position at third base. They call it the hot corner, and it certainly is.
That was a gutsy play as it got him in the gut. And now the batter will be Herm Winningham. He was inserted into the lineup at the last minute when Dawson was scratched. Dawson, with a big home run last night, is 18th to win the ball game for the Expos as they scored in the top of the 9th inning to beat the Mets. It was only the second time in 82 games that the Mets have lost a lead after 8 and lost the ball game. Winningham with a 1-1 count, and he fouls off a fastball. Winningham, a former Met, hitting .215 with 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in.
I wonder if he has a bad enough year if the Mets will take him back, because they were pretty high on this guy. And they liked him. They liked him personally.
In the Gary Carter trade, and there's a fastball missed. And Darling records his first strikeout.
He just liked the Mets to get him back, and he ends up hitting 300. Here it is again. It's a good pitch to hit.
Where's he going to play if the Mets get him back?
Number 17.
Have to make a DH out of it.
You think that'll happen, eh?
No, not
I'll
in the
tell you,
National League.
that's a bad job in the National League if you're a DH.
You don't get up much, do you? Luis Rivera, the batter, hitting .206, no home runs, 9 RBIs, hitting well against the Mets in this series, batting .300. And overall, he's hitting .292 against Mets pitching, and that one right in on his arm.
Well, certain times when you get hit with a pitch, if you can give with the pitch and it hits you in the area protected by muscle, you'll be all right. At that area right there, all there is bone. And all you can get is chips.
If he got it on the elbow, that could really hurt.
Plus the right arm. Right now, Rivera batting .206. He's in there for his defense. Here it is again. Ball running in. Watch this, Rivera trying to get out of the way. Of course, that back elbow is down, and wow.
And that's really a bad, you can't get out of the way that way. You got to turn toward the catcher and roll away.
Give with the ball.
Get out of the way, and he really walked right into that one.
If you can give with the pitch, it'll still sting you a little bit, but you tend not to really get damaged. Now, Gary Carter get hit in the bare hand. He's out there throwing with Wally Backman.
And there's that ethyl chloride that only makes it feel worse.
Yeah, it really does. I'll tell you, the worst feeling in the world is when they run you inside in the whirlpool, they load it up with ice, and they put your arm in the ice. I mean, you're in agony, and it's from the ice. Remember at one time when you had a bad arm, they put heat on it. Then they said, hey, that's not right. Put ice on it.
Bring the blood in there.
Here it is again. I'll bet Mother Nature would help it a lot more than ice. As Ralph mentioned, Rivera going right into the pitch. And the ball hitting Carter on the meat hand. It's a good way. I've seen catchers get a broken hand like that.
So Darling got 2 with 1 pitch. And now a runner at first base, and the batter will be Will Tejada.
Carter flexing that right thumb.
Tejada has been up one time in the major leagues, and that was against the Mets last night. And he swings at a fastball, strike one. In Tejada's first appearance in the major leagues, he was struck out.
Can you remember any time in your career when one pitch that you were hit with hurt more than another?
They all hurt. There's a wild pitch as Darling throws his 6th wild pitch, and it moves Rivera down to second base.
That wild pitch probably coming on a split-fingered fastball. Here it is again. I think you'll see a lot more wild pitches as the 80s go along, with more guys going to the split-fingered fastball, because it's really a tough pitch to control. You're really controlling the pitch with your thumb. The thumb is underneath the ball. The 2 fingers are split. They're not on top of the ball. They're on the side of the ball.
And the fastball again. This time he gets a piece of it, and the count 1-2. You know, the amazing thing to me about Bruce Suter's record when he was the great relief pitcher that he had been with the Cubs in St. Louis was he walked very few batters.
Yeah, it really is amazing. You know, you look at the wild pitches and pass balls in baseball as a young pitcher on deck, Valdez.
There he goes with a curveball, and Tejada struck out for the 2nd time in his major league career in 2 at-bats. That was a vicious curveball. So no hits, no runs. Batter hit by a pitch ball, 1 man left, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings. The Mets 4 and the Expos nothing.
Myrtle Beach, #1 for golf and family vacations. Call Myrtle Beach Jet Express at 1-800-FUN-TUCSON and fly nonstop jet service from New York to Myrtle Beach from only $79. Myrtle Beach, perfect for your family vacation. Great golf and some of the biggest names in entertainment. We even make it easy to visit Myrtle Beach with great vacation packages from only $199. Only on Myrtle Beach Jet Express. Call 1-800-FUN-TUCSON today.
Let the rumble begin. In the blue corner, Mr. Irresistible, the Crave. The challenger, Willpower.
Man, when that Crave hits, you just can't beat a sack of 10 hot, fresh White Castle burgers.
Winner and still champion.
White Castle, what you crave!
And Len Dykstra will lead it off. He led off in the first with a walk. And now batting here in the second as the Mets sent 9 men to the plate and scored 4 runs on 4 hits. 2 2-run home runs, one by Keith Hernandez and one by Mookie Wilson. And a big Met fan up there, George Bush Jr. in the white shirt. Of course, the son of the Vice President of the United States, and that pitch a ball, and it's 1-1.
Vice President was a good first baseman at Yale University. He captained the baseball team. In fact, when he was campaigning last election, he would quote a lot of athletes. That can get you beaten.
And a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. George Bush went to the NCAA finals twice at Omaha with the Yale team.
Now that's unusual for an Ivy League team. Harvard, I understand, at one time was a good school for baseball. Yale, as you mentioned, a good school for baseball. How about Princeton? No? You didn't follow them closely.
Not closely, because I was out there where USC played.
Oh, we don't want to hear about USC.
And Rod Dado, an old teammate of mine, the winningest baseball coach in college history. The coach of the Trojans.
You guys had good weather out there. One of the powerhouses in the early part of this century was Holy Cross from Worcester, Massachusetts.
There's a drive foul, so the count will stay at 1-2.
How about that score? 14-2. There's a kid that, boy, a lot of people feel he's the best player in the National League right now.
They're talking about that. 3 home runs.
And last year there was some question as to whether or not the Reds would trade him. I remember in spring training, Billy DeMar said he's too high on Eric Davis because Davis is a hard worker.
And there's a base hit by Lenny Dykstra. And the hit barrage continues against Sergio Valdez, making his major league debut. Hit number 5.
Lenny Dykes is the type of guy, if you're a catcher or a pitcher, you can grow to hate because he gets on base and he steals bases. He makes everybody anxious. Boy, he really does the job. Hits the ball all over, walks. He'll get hit by a pitch.
And it brings up Wally Backman. Wally grounded out his first time up on a 3-2 pitch. Incidentally, Eric Davis now with 26 home runs, tying Dale Murphy in that department. The leader is Mike Schmidt with 32. And a hard smash to the second baseman Foley, off to Rivera, and a bad throw, and Backman is safe. So they missed the double play, and it should have been an easy one.
Yeah, they had time for double play right here. When you know there's speed, you tend to rush things. Foley getting the ball to Rivera. Keep in mind, though, Rivera was hit with that pitch on the elbow. That ball off the mark, and Backman hustling down to first base, staying out of the double play.
So 1 away, and that'll bring up Keith Hernandez, who got his 12th home run with a man on base in the first.
When you get hit with a pitch in that elbow or hand area, it's numb for a while. You can't even feel the ball.
Sergio Valdez, and he starts off with a breaking ball for ball 1. Keith second in on-base percentage, and the leader right here in this ballpark, Tim Raines. Raines at .410, Keith at .406.
Tim Raines said he imitates George Brett from the left side of the plate and Ricky Henderson from the right side of the plate.
And on the base paths, he imitates no one because he's the best percentage base stealer in the history of the game of baseball, 87%.
4 straight years he won the Lou Brock Award, symbolic of the leading base stealer in the National League.
2-0, Backman at first. 1 man out, Mets leading 4-0. And a fastball for ball 3. So Keith now with a 3-0 count.
There's 2 guys. You just took a look at 2 guys. Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter. I'll bet you never imitated any hitter.
And a strike call as Keith thought it was ball 4. Actually, I think Keith is just as happy it was called a strike.
He wants to hit.
Get that chance to hit. I've seen good hitters, Hank Greenberg for one, that would swing at a pitch that was out of the strike zone on a 3-0 count just to stay up there. And there's ball 4. So Keith adds to his league leading walk total. He now has 83. And the Mets have runners at first and second base with 1 out, and Gary Carter the batter. Gary singled his first time up. And Sergio Valdez still having his troubles.
Mentioned late Hank Greenberg. Nice article written by, I believe it was Murray Allen the other day on Hank Greenberg. I believe Hank Greenberg led the league in home runs in the American League with the Tigers, like, what, 3 times?
4 times.
4 times. And you know, interesting enough, when you look at the Tiger ballpark conducive to home run hitters, they've only had 8 guys in the history of their franchise lead the league in home runs. That's surprising to me.
Hank hit 58 one year, and the breaking ball a strike. He also drove in 183 runs one year, 1 shy of the American League record held by Lou Gehrig. Of course, the Major League record 190 by Hack Wilson.
There's Gary Carter trying to check his swing, but he was unable to do it. On the pennant chase 1 week this year, Hank Greenberg was interviewed, and he said that he always, after the year was over, he thought he had a good year until he looked up and took a look at his competitor Lou Gehrig's stats.
He didn't sign with the Yankees because of Lou Gehrig. This ball hit out to left center field. It's playable. Webster there, and he makes the catch. Backman back to second. Hernandez back to first. And now 2 men away.
The crowd went wild here when the ball left the bat up in the air, but if you looked at Gary Carter, he knew it was staying in the ballpark because he was disappointed, jogging slowly to first base.
And the batter will be Darryl Strawberry. Darryl flied out to right field his first time up. Strawberry hitting .257, 21 home runs, 75 RBIs, and he chases one out of the strike zone.
Darryl sometimes looks confused at the plate. Bert Roberge throwing in the Expo bullpen.
Strawberry has hit 4 home runs against the Expos this year and driven in 8 runs. And the fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Eric Davis, the other, 20 home runs or more and 20 stolen bases or more. Only Darryl Strawberry, who has done that feat 3 times, and Kurt Gibson of the Tigers, who has done it 3 times, of all the players in the major leagues.
Another pretty good talent, Kurt Gibson.
And the off-speed pitch, a split-finger fastball, and 1-2. Tejada, the catcher, also a rookie, catching his first game as a starting player in the major leagues, having trouble holding onto the ball.
He's got a lot of things running through his mind, I'm sure. How to call the game, who's hitting. They probably went over the hitters before the game with them.
Fastball, it's hit a long way, but it is foul. This ball is almost into the upper deck.
Well, that ball's hit a ton. Well, watch the quickness of his bat. He gets the head of the bat out there in a hurry. Quick hands, strong hands. It's a big league home run swing.
You know where he made contact with that ball? Only about a foot in front of his body. The speed of the bat had to be so fast to hit that ball that far foul. Ball to the first base side, taken by Galarraga, and the throw to Valdez in time for the out. So Valdez survives the second after giving up 4 in the first, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings, it is the Mets 4, make it at the end of 2, the Mets 4 and the Expos nothing.
You are a machine, a force to be reckoned with. To keep all pistons firing, you've got to feed the machine. And the fuel you need is right here in Men's Health. Get rock-hard abs now, 6 different ways, and no sit-ups. Discover superfoods for instant energy and fat burning. Eat what you want and still lose weight. Only Men's Health delivers the latest information that talks to real guys, like the ultimate 20-minute workout to sculpt a body that says power. Call for your free trial issue. Keep it and get a full year for $19.97. You'll also get 3 books free. 100 Ways to Burn Fat Faster, the Men's Health Guide to Intimacy, and Quick and Healthy Cooking for Men. When it comes to romance, Men's Health reveals what she really wants and shows you how to make your relationship intense and incredibly pleasurable. Subscribe now for just $19.97. Cancel anytime and keep the free books. You're a machine. Try Men's Health today. Feed the machine.
Sun'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom.
Raising the quality of health care in America.
Well, we go to the top of the 5th inning here at Shea Stadium, and a happy anniversary, 75th anniversary to Mariana and Max.
All right. The Expos. Shortstop.
A lot of years.
Certainly is.
Luis Rivera leads it off. He's 0 for 1. The Expos trailing the Mets 4-0. Well, I'll tell you, they play some good music out here at Shea Stadium between innings. Ron Darling's first pitch to Rivera, right down third base way. Knight says, "I'll take it," and he does. 1 down. Will Tejada. Well, Will Tejada, the young catcher with the Montreal Expos. He's the batter. He struck out his first time up. Swung on and missed.
Bill Stoneman, who handles the contract negotiations and a former teammate of mine with the Montreal Expos, and I had a nice visit before the game tonight. And he was telling me about Will Tejada. Tejada was drafted from the Philadelphia Phillies. He had 271 at Reading last year, and he speaks perfect English. He's from Santo Domingo, and coming into spring training this year, guys were approaching him and trying to make their language as slow, the English as slow as they possibly could. And Will gave it that, fine, how are you? You know, fine, and yours? So he does speak perfect English. On the other hand, his battery mate tonight, Valdez, speaks little English. So I don't imagine they went to the same school in Santo Domingo, both being from there.
And a chopper to short. A guy with pretty good English flips to another guy with pretty good English, and it's 2 down. I used to like it when you would catch a
Mark Topaz. All right.
The Tope, he does an outstanding job. Could not have a pregame or postgame show without the Tope.
I tell you, he looks younger than he really is, though. What's he, 49 tonight?
Yes, he is.
He looks a lot younger than that. He's taking care of himself.
He certainly is. We're going to put a picture up here of the Tope. He's probably downstairs preparing for that postgame show. He does an outstanding job as Sergio Valdez steps in and takes a ball and then bails out and fouls one off, and it's a strike, 1-1. Making his major league debut. Poor guy went through a tough first inning.
This is only his second at bat in his life in professional baseball. Never been to bat.
So it should be a great experience. I'd be bailing. I bailed when I played. Imagine not ever batting. Oh. Facing a major league pitcher, the caliber of Ron Darling.
Here's what Fran's talking about. That left foot, you can see opening up. He's a little bit open to start with, and then he helps it along. Watch that left foot step out towards shortstop.
2-2.
Whoa, come back here.
And he hits a chopper back to Ron Darling, who flips to Hernandez, and that'll do it for the Expos here in the top of the 5th. 3 up, 3 down, and at the end of 4.5, it's 4-zip Mets.
As I was saying, Edwards created everyday low meat prices.
Gold Star whole chicken,
69 cents a pound.
And ground beef, 99 cents a pound.
But that's not good enough for our customers. We need to lower the price of boneless and skinless chicken breast to $1.99 a pound every day. All in favor? All opposed? Oh, no. Edwards, you could pay more.
Introducing the new Jeep Cherokee. With over 40 advancements, it was voted four-wheeler of the year by virtually everyone.
See your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Sit back and enjoy more of 86 Mets Curtain Call, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Well, Sports Channel and 7-Eleven invite you to vote for the 1986 Sports Channel Mets MVP. Your vote enters you in a Sports Channel MVP sweepstakes and gives you the chance to win a trip for two to the first 2 games of the 1986 World Series. To vote, visit your local 7-Eleven, and while you're there, buy a big gulp and get a free Sports Channel Mets Yankees MVP Collector's Cup. Darryl Strawberry hits a high fly ball. I could complete this promo before it comes down. Tim Raines makes the catch. He almost got handcuffed on a fly ball.
Here's the Mets.
1 out. By the way, no purchase is necessary to participate. Balloting in September 18th. So run on down to 7-Eleven.
We looked at Hernandez's front shoulder. Darryl does have a tendency to pull that front shoulder. You see the front shoulder coming out, and the bat head drags through the strike zone. Consequently, the lazy fly ball the other way.
And Mookie Wilson, the batter, fouls the ball out of play.
I tell you, I was an expert at that. And a lot of catchers who are left-handed hitters, their third and fourth time up, they really have to concentrate on that front shoulder, because if they don't, the arms are lazy to begin with because you've been catching. And if you're catching every day, you really have to concentrate on that ball up and away or lay off of it. But that was my perennial nemesis, that lazy fly ball the other way.
I remember Bill Freehan talking about catchers. He always felt that catchers were kind of streak hitters because of, as you mentioned, catching every day. You tend to tire out. Down low to Mookie Wilson. 1-2.
See, a lot of young hitters, I think the reason that shoulder pulls out of there so much, they're worried about getting jammed without realizing that all good hitters get jammed.
Strike 3, 1 down, 2 down.
Third baseman.
If a guy handles that up.
First major league strikeout for Sergio Valdez, and he has pitched well since the first.
I think if a guy handles that heater up and in consistently, he's going to have some gaps away from him because he's so fast, he's probably pulling off the ball.
Hitters don't realize how quick they are either.
That's right.
They think they have to open the shoulder to speed the bat along, and in effect, you slow the bat down when you do that.
0-1 on Ray Knight with 2 men down here in the 5th inning, and Ray hits a ground ball foul. Right by Buddy Harrelson down there at third base. Buddy Harrelson and Rusty Staub, the first 2 players inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. Excellent shortstop, very popular player here in New York, and a fine baseball mind, Buddy Harrelson. Saw Rusty downstairs talking baseball in the Mets clubhouse prior to the game. 0-2 on Ray Knight. Good split finger fastball right there. Strike 3, so his second strikeout of his major league career, and they're back to back. Here in the 5th, Valdez throwing well. 3 up, 3 down. There's the score, and we'll be back.
There's only one true craftsman. Craftsman makes anything possible. Yeah.
Just got a break. Tell me a story. What are you doing? Can you play with me? Can I have some beef? Gigi.
Too busy to watch the game? Sports Channel Light is a 30-minute condensed version of the day's best game every night at 11.
Tell me another story.
Sports Channel Light. How to make the game when you can't make the game.
Well, Rafael Santana, the batter, as he leads it off here in the bottom of the 6th and takes a strike. 0-1. We have a 4-0 ball game. Mets on top of the Expos. 7 hits for the Mets, 2 for the Expos. Santana will be followed by Darling. And then Lenny Dykstra. Check swing, 1 hopper. The big cat had big trouble. Picked the ball up, flipped the Valdez covering first. 1 down.
Gosh, you wait 8 hitters for a check swing. That's really frustrating, especially on the first pitch. With 2 strikes, it's easier to accept. Valdez has really gotten his control down since that first inning. He walked 2 in the first inning, 2 2-run homers, 1 to Hernandez, 1 to Wilson. Pitched well since
Yes,
then.
he has. You got to admire what he's done. And Ron Darling hits it off the end of the bat. Nice play by Rivera, getting Darling at first base. Good reaction.
Lenny Dykstra. Luis Rivera, no relation to Jungle Jim Rivera.
Jungle Jim Rivera.
Remember Jungle Jim?
Boy, that's a name out of the past.
Jim Rivera was sent to prison. He was sent to Folsom Prison, as a matter of fact. He spent about 5 years down there. And I'll tell you, he was let out of Folsom Prison about a year before we played there. We, of course, at Folsom Prison, they were all home games, no road trips.
Yeah, right.
And they were so proud at the baseball field. I was playing for the Atlanta Crackers in '62. They were so proud of a window that Jim Rivera had broken at Folsom Prison. They never repaired the window. It remained broken during the winter and the whole bit.
But they had bars up, I'm sure.
No, not on this window. It was part of the factory at Folsom Prison in Atlanta.
Lenny Dykes with the batter, 1-1. Takes strike 2. How about Ron LaFleur, another guy that came out of prison? Billy Martin signing him after taking the Tigers for an exhibition game to a prison in Michigan.
Really funny. I mean, some of the guys down there, this was back in 1962, as you see Neiman and Anderson warming up. A foul ball would go over the wall. They'd say, I'll go get it. And, of course, no road trips. That was their big line.
Lenny Dykstra just grounded out the shortstop. And that'll do it for the Mets here in the 6th. So Valdez now throwing the ball well. But the Expos are playing catch-up baseball because the Mets lead 4-0.
Announcing a health care plan where your doctor bills cost this much, where your hospital room looks like this, where this is your medicine chest. Presenting health care where you hold all the choices. New choices in natural healing. Between these covers, there are no expensive antibiotics or prescription drugs, just natural cures that help your body heal itself. Clear sinus congestion instantly with this plant. Lower high blood pressure with these foods. Dissolve wrinkles on the spot with this natural oil. Stop smoking with help from this blend of juices. Natural alternative remedies that require no doctor visits or shocking pharmacy bills. Call now to examine new choices in natural healing free for 10 days. If you decide it's not for you, return it and owe nothing. If you like what you see, it's yours for just 4 installments of $6.99. Yours free for calling now. 5-Minute Cures is packed with fast-acting solutions for everyday health problems. New choices in natural healing. Here's to your health. Call now.
All right, Ralph. Wally Backman leads it off for the Mets here in the bottom of the 7th. The Mets comfortably rolling along. Their magic number is 3. The Phillies lost today to Chicago. Mets leading in this one 4-0. And 0-1 to Wally Backman. Valdez has retired the last 7 Mets to face him, but he yielded 4 runs on 2 two-run homers in the bottom of the 1st.
And that's understandable, as this is his major league debut. He turned 22 Sunday. A young player from the Dominican Republic, pitching in the Big Apple, and rocked for 4 runs on 4 hits, pitching to 9 batters in the 1st.
1-2 to Wally Backman, as Bob Euchre says. Bob said before he started his first major league game, he wasn't nervous, but the manager came up to him and he said, if you're not nervous, why is your athletic supporter on the outside? 2-2 to Backman. I don't think Valdez was that nervous.
Walked his first batter, got his second out. That was Wally Backman. Then a 2-run home run by Keith Hernandez to put the Mets up by 2. A single by Carter, another out. And then Mookie Wilson with a 2-run home run. He then walked Ray Knight and gave up a single to Santana, but got Darling on a pop-up to second.
Fork ball fouled away. Valdez does call his split finger a fork ball and not a split finger fastball. The difference really, I guess it's semantics, but I guess the difference is the fork ball is choked a little bit more.
Back into the back of the 2 fingers split apart. Bigger split of the fingers.
Generally slower than the split finger fastball.
And it will have more downward action. The best forkball pitcher I ever saw was Elroy Face.
Elroy, a private detective now out of Pittsburgh, as you saw Hernandez on deck.
He claimed his fame to longevity was because he was a carpenter.
Line to right field, base hit. Second base hit of the night for Backman.
Well, Backman talks about his improved hitting, and he talks about Keith Hernandez, watching Keith hit and trying to pick situations. In other words, when the pitch is the pitch he has been looking for to pull the ball into the right field area.
So with Backman on first, nobody out, the Mets up by 4. Bottom of the 7th, Keith Hernandez the batter. He is 2 for 2, a big 2-run homer in the first inning, driving in Len Dykstra. He also walked and singled to right. So Hernandez on base 3 times tonight. Tim Raines on base 1 of 3.
And they're in the battle for the leadership and on-base average.
Backman back.
Rain started tonight at 410, and Keith was at 406.
Randy Myers, the left-hander. John Mitchell, the right-hander. Getting some work in. Ball 1 to Hernandez. Keith entered the game 6th in the National League in hitting. Mets have 3 in the top 10. Keith Hernandez is 6th. Dykstra 9th. Ray Knight 10th. Keith Hernandez, and here comes Buck Rogers. Buck out there in a hurry to talk to young Sergio Valdez. He has really pitched a fine ball game. First major league start. He's given up 8 hits, 4 runs. But all of the trouble came in the first inning. Andy McGaffigan warming, just in case Buck Rogers wants to make a move. Valdez 16-6 with an excellent 2.47 ERA in the Class A affiliate of the Expos, West Palm Beach.
That's a big jump. A ball to the major leagues in 1 year.
That's right. Grounded foul, so it's 2-1. Wait, he's saying wait, wait, wait.
He's been out in front of a lot of balls that he has hit hard tonight. And of course, with a pitcher like Valdez, who throws that forkball, the speed of the forkball is so much slower than the fastball.
Hernandez has worked him into a situation, as he does a lot of young pitchers, to where he's ahead in the count. I don't think anybody in the National League does it better than Hernandez right now. There's the forkball, but it's inside, so it's 3-1 to Keith Hernandez. Gary Carter on deck. Line to left center, base hit. Backman had an idea about going to third, but a fine play by Mitch Webster. And that looks like it's going to be all for Sergio Valdez. Here comes Buck Rogers.
Well, Keith comes up with his 3rd hit in this ball game, a home run and 2 singles. He also has walks, so he's had a perfect night. And he's taking aim at Tim Raines for the leadership and on-base average.
Well, with the pitching change, Ralph, a chance to tell our fans that with the Mets' magic number at 3, obviously, if they win this ball game, it will go to 2. So with the likelihood, unless the Phillies sweep the Mets this weekend at the Vet in Philadelphia, the Mets will clinch the National League East Division. And if you've never seen a clincher, it's exciting. And a chance to tell the fans that for all 3 games in Philadelphia at Veterans Stadium, 100 miles down the road, there are plenty of tickets still available. And you can get your tickets in town here if you do decide to go. And you have day after tomorrow to decide at Ticketron. All Ticketron outlets have tickets to the Mets-Phillies series this weekend. So come on down. It'll be a ball and be part of the division-winning celebration.
And it could take place tomorrow night. The Mets have Dwight Gooden on the mound. I should say Friday night, not tomorrow night. Day off tomorrow. It'll be Gooden, 14-5 against Bruce Ruffin, who is 7-3. And if the Mets win Friday night, the champagne will be opened up.
I've never tasted bad champagne in those celebrations, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, that stuff really burdens the eyes. When they start shooting it around in the clubhouse.
It certainly does. Well, Andy McGaffigan, the new pitcher for the Expos, is Sergio Valdez. Went 6 innings, giving up 9 hits and 4 runs. The 2 runners, Backman and Hernandez, will be charged to Valdez should they score. But a fine job considering his first major league appearance.
He's got that intensity in his eyes.
He does.
22-year-old boy, just turned 22, and he looks like he's got that competitive spirit.
Keith, Gary, and Wally. Well, a lot of moms love Keith, Gary, and Wally. And Daryl and Mookie and Lynn and Raphael and all the Mets who have turned in such a marvelous performance all season long. Now, if you mention champagne celebrations, the most frightening celebration, yeah, that's right, frightening celebration, was in 1967 in the Fenway Park clubhouse. And I was reminded of that story the other night when we were in Fenway Park in Boston to do that exhibition game last Thursday. Joe Horner asked me for a bottle of champagne, and I unwittingly tossed it to him about 6 feet away, and he was obviously jostling the bottle around. The bottle exploded with the cork in it, severing the left middle finger, not severing completely, but severing an artery and a tendon. And Joe Horner's finger was bent for the last 10 years of his career, and it was almost a career-threatening injury. He did have it sewed up and everything, but those champagne tossing, every time I think of tossing a bottle of champagne around now, I think of that incident. Scary. Sewed him up right there in the clubhouse. And we had just won the World Championship, so that kind of put a damper on it. Gary Carter 1 for 3 on the night. Sharply hit, knocked down inadvertently by McGaffigan, and he throws Carter out.
Well, a tough break for Gary Carter as he loses a base hit. It hits McGaffigan on the leg and stays close enough to him for McGaffigan to pick it up and throw Carter out. Right here, right back to the middle. Got him on the right ankle. And he's able to pick it up and throw Carter out, and now they'll check him out.
Andy, who's done a fine job for the Expos, he's 8-5. Finally has found a home after going from Cincinnati to Montreal twice in 1 year, and twice to San Francisco and back to Montreal in 1 year. He is well traveled, but has done a good job for the Expos this year, and we hope his injury is not serious.
They're going to take him out of the ball game. So Carter literally knocks McGaffigan out of the box.
On that play, by the way, Backman moved to third, Hernandez to second. Another fine crowd on hand tonight. 31,934 paid, 33,379 total.
Coming to this ball game, the Mets had averaged 37,727, so that'll drop their average down a bit. McGaffigan showing some pain there. Could get a bone chip. The pitcher that is coming into the ball game will have a lot of time, or all the time he wants, to warm up. Well, here you see Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter, and of course they go through some similar motions at the plate. Look at the way Hernandez cocks the bat. And he keeps the shoulder in, then drives the bat out in front with the body following. And now here is Gary Carter.
See,
Carter opened up there.
Yeah, and Carter, and he hit the ball well. Carter's not nearly as much as Hernandez, because Carter's arms are so strong, you know?
He's an arm hitter, hand hitter, yeah.
That was a good shot by Billy Webb, firing that split screen.
Incidentally, in that Western Division of the American League, California leading Texas by 8.5. So some of the, well, in fact, all of the divisions starting to split apart.
No score, Seattle at Texas. That game in the 4th inning, playing down at Rangers Stadium.
And it'll be Bob McClure in the ball game. He's worked 50 2/3 innings with 42 hits allowed, 35 strikeouts, 17 walks. And Bob was in last night's ball game. Has a record of 1 win, 3 losses, and 6 saves. He's appeared in 44 games so far this year. He worked 1 1/3 last night, did not give up a base hit or a run. And in pitching to Keith Hernandez, he threw him 6 straight curveballs.
And he got Hernandez to fly to center field, 6 straight.
The on-deck batter with runners at second, third. He might get an intentional pass, but I think they'll pitch to him.
Oh, I do too. Oh, yeah.
If I were hitting and I were the next hitter, I'd be out there as close as I could get, watching the pitcher.
I would too. That's a good point. I would too. Not sitting in the dugout. I want to give myself every advantage. As a matter of fact, Bob Gibson, if a guy used to inch too close, he'd throw the ball over near the on-deck circle.
So would Early
Or
Wynn.
just throw the ball up in the air over the catcher's head and kind of glare at the guy. That push you back. Push you back a little bit toward that on-deck circle.
Well, you're entitled to the on-deck circle.
Yeah. But if you get too, past that, Gibson didn't like that. And I heard Early Wynn did.
Yeah, Early did do it.
Darryl Strawberry 0 for 3. Runners at second and third, 1 out. Bob McClure, the third Montreal pitcher. 4-0 New York. Curve ball and a beauty.
He's going to see that. You learn a lot from how they pitch other batters that hit the same way you do. And this is it. The starting pitch, a curve ball, and he's got a big, slow curve ball.
Infield in for the Expos. Fastball inside, a little show-me pitch.
That was wasted. That was just to make sure you don't look curveball all the way, but you can go back to looking curveball right here.
That's a Missouri fastball, right?
Show me. It's showtime. McClure has the luxury of pitching any way he wants to Strawberry because he has first base open. So Darryl will not get any good pitches to hit.
Mookie Wilson, the on-deck batter. A fastball. That would have gotten me, too. I'd have been looking curveball.
Okay, but yeah, but it's still only 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now you got to go defensive. I mean, you can guess when you're hitting. There's nothing wrong with that. I asked Ted Williams, he guessed. He says, you bet I guessed.
Every pitch. Curveball fouled off, and that pitch was hittable.
He finally hung one. Darryl had a big swing at it and fouled it off.
But you got to look away. You can't be surprised with the breaking ball away.
There's a high curveball, and Darryl just did miss hitting that ball out toward left field.
When you look away, it makes you vulnerable inside, but that's a chance you got to take. Another curve, lifted to left center. Should be deep enough to score Backman. Backman will score. It's 5-0 New York, and a good piece of hitting by Darryl Strawberry.
Well, this was not an easy spot to hit because first base is open, and Darryl gets another curve, and that one also hung a little bit. But he got the bat on it, hit it to left field deep enough, and And the Mets pick up an insurance run and lead 5-0. Hernandez had tagged up at second but could not come over as Raines threw to third.
You know, Ralph, Joe Torre used to say, never look for the good curveball, always look for a mistake, because you're not going to hit the good one anyway.
Good stuff to hit.
You know, so always look for a mistake, and you'd be surprised how many guys made mistakes on Joe Torre who could hit.
Here's Hernandez again, and now Strawberry. Strawberry opens up very early in his swing. Of course, he's got a much longer swing, and he has to make the stride. Now there he goes open, and you saw the bat lag behind.
Wilson rips one toward the Met dugout and laughs about it. Well, the Mets should be all smiles. They have a 5-0 lead. The magic number's 3. The Phillies lost this afternoon. Ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike to Mookie Wilson.
Mookie hit his 9th home run in the first inning. And that came as a left-hand batter. He hit it well.
Curveball, and it's grounded foul. So it's 2-2 to Mookie Wilson. The Mets with 9 hits, the Expos with 2.
Of the 9 home runs that Mookie has hit, he's hit 3 of them batting right-handed.
His long ball right-handed especially is that breaking ball down and in. Kevin Mitchell on the left. Dwight Gooden, the starting pitcher in Friday night's game.
They're really uptight, aren't they?
There is that breaking ball down and in. Krenchicki will have to hurry. Not in time. Hernandez hustles home. Safe at home. 6-0 New York.
Well, Galarraga made a mistake here. Galarraga tried to stay on the base and get the out. The throw was too far away for him to stay on the base. If he'd have come off the base to get the throw, he would not have dropped the ball, and Hernandez would not have scored. But his anticipation was wrong as Krenchicki makes a wide throw at first base.
It is going to be scored, a base hit and an RBI for Mookie Wilson. No error has been flashed. Now it is an error on the third baseman, a hit and an error. So no RBI for Mookie, but he did get a base hit, his second of the game. Ray Knight 0 for 2 with a walk. Ground ball, Rivera to Tom Foley for the force. Knight's hit the ball well a couple of times, nothing to show for it. The Mets scored 2 more runs on 3 hits. There was 1 error and 1 left. After 7, 6-0 New York.
Just a reminder, next time you need a little help getting airborne, the 50,000 employee owners of United Airlines would be more than happy to help. Come fly our friendly skies.
Classic baseball continues with the Kid and the Straw Man. It's 86 Mets Curtain Call, only on Sports Channel.
Top of the 8th inning with the Mets up 6-0. The roll high five.
Keith over there talking to Darryl Strawberry, and obviously Keith saying nice job of hanging in there and staying with the curveball and hitting that sacrifice fly that got the Mets a big run. Keith is a very strong leader on this ball club.
Yes, he is. Wallace Johnson will be the pinch hitter for Bob McClure. Johnson pinch hit in last night's game and singled. Doubtful that the Mets will clinch it home, but they'll bring it home after they clinch. I guess Buck Rogers and the Expos, the only thing they can clinch this year is their teeth for all the injuries they've had. They have had a ton, certainly more than their share of injuries.
Of course, Hubie Brooks out for the season. Also Mike Fitzgerald, the catcher. Two of the Mets traded for Gary Carter. Yeomans has done an outstanding job as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeomans in that trade.
Wallach's out now. Andre Dawson's missing tonight's ball game. Mike Fitzgerald and Hubie Brooks went out in the same game here at Shea in the last series.
Joe Hesketh, a very tough pitcher,
left-hander,
also out of action.
Yeah, and you got to have your people. You just can't perform without them. So the Expos look to next year, and the Mets look to the playoffs against probably the Houston Astros. The magic number of the Houston Astros remain at 15 right now. They're playing LA later. Off the heel of the glove of Backman, Johnson may get a hit on that.
Tough play for Backman. The ball coming up at the last minute. Wally came up with it, but it still came up higher than his glove. Got him on the heel. Watch this as the ball comes up and goes right over the heel of the glove of Wally Backman. This ball jumping up high. But he did it the right way with that glove low to the ground, and you can come up with the ball. That time the ball just came up on the bat hop too high. Green scored a base hit.
The third hit of the night for Montreal, and Tom Foley 0 for 3. He's flied to right twice and grounded to first. Ball one. Split finger, fly ball, let right field. It's in foul territory, and Hernandez, Backman, and Strawberry converge. Good effort on all three of their parts, but ball bounding into the stand. So it's 1-1 to Tom Foley. Saw where the Detroit Tigers, with 4 home runs in 1 inning tonight. The Expos did that earlier this year against Mario Soto and the Cincinnati Reds at Riverfront in Cincinnati. Breaking ball outside, 2-1. Caught the corner, so it's 2-2 to Foley.
Foley 2 for 13 in this series.
Fly ball, center field. There's Dykstra, and he makes the catch. 1 away here in the 8th. And the batter's going to be Mitch Webster, and the Mets just can't figure out how to get this guy out.
20 hits against the Mets this year in 57 at-bats. In the series, he's had 6 hits and 12 at-bats, batting .500. 2 for 2 and a walk tonight.
Webster's average now up to 293. Trying to make a move on 300. That puts him 12th in the National League in hitting. And here's a guy who, because of a numbers problem with Toronto last year, was sent to AAA ball. A for perseverance. Split finger, he went too far. It's 1-1.
He has a good compact swing. Here he starts his swing, but it's so compact that he can hold it up in time. Technically, you're supposed to break your wrist before it's a swinging strike. Doesn't always work that way.
On the the corner, 1-2 to Webster.
Lays that bat on his back shoulder. I've never liked that.
I don't like that either. But whatever works. Fly ball, right field, and it's going to be foul. Of course, there were a lot of people who didn't like Stan Musial's stance.
Never hit that way.
No chance. All coiled up like that. No way to get any extension. Base hit right field, and Webster gets them in all different flavors. Johnson to third base, Webster stopping at first, so the Expos with runners at first and third, and 1 out.
That's his second bloop hit in this ball game, and watch this swing now. It's very short. Gets on it, doesn't hit it on the good part of the bat, just does get it out, and he drops it into right field for a base hit. 3 for 3 tonight with a walk, and in this series he has had 7 hits in 13 at bats. That's his 21st hit against the Mets, and this is the 15th game the Mets have played against the Expos. I don't think he's played in all 15.
Kind of like a red-hot dictionary. Timmy Raines, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Say a well-read dictionary. A red-hot Webster. 1-0. 1-0 to Raines. 6-0. New York on top.
And Darling working on a shutout. He's pitched 2 this year. That's his career high. He's got to really work here to keep it alive.
Fastball misses. 2-0 to Tim Raines. The Expos now with 4 hits. Webster has 3 of them. Swing and a miss by Raines. 2-1. Wallace Johnson at third. Mitch Webster at first. 1 out. The Mets with a 6-run lead. We're in the 8th.
In games where they've had the lead after 7 innings have a record of 75-3.
Split finger fastball. It's down, and it's 3-1 to Raines. Very disciplined at Tim Raines. Raines turns 26 years old next month. And already with 1,000 hits. He did it off Ojeda 2 nights ago. Well hit right field, and it's going to be just foul. That's the problem of coming inside when you're behind in the count.
Well, he got the long strike. It is just foul. Strawberry over to watch it go into foul territory. No chance to make a play, and it's fouled by about a foot.
Those aren't long strikes you want to keep toying with. 3-2 to Tim.
3-run home run, but put Montreal right back in this ball game.
So we'll see what Darling and Carter go to with the count 3-2. Runners at first and third. We'll see if Webster's off. Not running. Fastball lifted to right center, base hit. Webster to third. Johnson scores. It's now a 6-1 ball game.
So Darling loses his shutout here in the 8th inning, and the Expos trying to make a comeback. 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball, and Raines, a fine hitter, leading the National League in hitting, is on it. Lines it into center field. First run for the Expos scoring as Johnson comes in to score, and on the play, Webster goes to third. Raines holding at first base. So runners at first and third, and one man out.
Wayne Krenchicki, the batter. He's 0 for 3 on the night. Split finger is swing and a miss. 0-1 to Krenchicki. There goes Raines, the curveball, swing and a miss. 0-2. Raines had it stolen easily.
Tim with a stolen base in this ball game, his first in the series. He can steal him.
He has 58 on the year. Third in the National League behind Davis and Vince Coleman.
Has a total of 514 career stolen bases.
Swing and a miss. So Krenchicki out of there.
And he gets him on a splitter. Krenchicki way out in front. And a big out for Darling as Krenchicki checks out. Goes back to the bench. It brings up Andres Galarraga.
Galarraga 0 for 3 on the night. Runners remain at first and third. 2 out now. Good play, Carter.
Raines with 449 stolen bases. We said 513.
Galarraga fouls it back. Still 1-1 to Andres. 6-1 ball game. Top of the 8th inning. Roger McDowell up and throwing. So Ron Darling, after losing the shutout, trying to go for his 5th complete game of the year.
Most complete games he's had, 4 in a single season.
Ralph, how about Fernando Valenzuela? He has more complete games than 9 teams in the National League. Amazing. 1-2 to Galarraga.
Well, he is a fine hitter, so they leave him in for that reason when he's
True.
behind. But he also has great durability. $17 complete games. Dwight Gooden and Mike Krukow, along with Rick Roden, have a total of 10.
Live from Shea Stadium, all the action right here on Sports Channel. 1-2 to Galarraga. There are the numbers. Lifted to right. Strawberry on the run. And he makes the catch. So Darryl Strawberry using that speed to his advantage to help Ron Darling. 1 run on 3 hits and 2 left after 7.5. 6-1 New York.
We could not deny the RAV4 our top ranking.
The RAV4 breaks expected molds.
The RAV4 rides a great deal better than many a sedan.
Handling in both RAV4 models is excellent.
The all-new RAV4 recreational activity vehicle starts at only $15,118. Maybe we should start calling it the Rave 4.
Driving it is great fun.
Bert Roberge, the new pitcher for the Expos. He's 0-3 with 1 save, an earned run average of 7.64. He's worked just 17 2/3 innings, giving up 23 hits, striking out 8, and walking 4. Bert Roberge.
Bert, the perfect name for the province of Quebec. Pitching for the Montreal Expos. Roberge, of course, French name. Nice crowd of over 31,000 paid here at Shea. Some have left, most have stayed. No celebration here tonight, but a hot time in the old town come October, huh, Ralph?
Well, the celebration for the championship of the Eastern Division should take place either Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'd like to remind you, for those of you who would like to be a part of that celebration in Philadelphia, the Mets open up against Philadelphia Friday night. Dwight Gooden on the mound. And tickets are available here in New York at Ticketron. So you can get your seats and know what you got before you go down there. And you can, of course, go down on Amtrak or drive down. They have a lot of parking there, fine stadium. And be a part of the third clinching. Hopefully it'll happen in Philadelphia if you're there.
Lee Mazzilli in the on-deck circle, so Ron Darling will not get his complete game tonight as Roger McDowell continues to throw in the bullpen. A fork ball from Bert Roberge and a foul ball by Santana. There's Roger.
And if Roger gets in this ball game, and it looks like he will not get a save.
Not with the Mets leading by 5. They have 10 hits. The Expos with 5. 3 by Mitch Webster. 1-1 to Santana. Rafi continuing his hot hitting tonight. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Fastball misses. 2-1 to Rafael Santana. Right field over his Herm Winningham, and he makes the catch. 1 away here in the 8th, and the batter's going to be Lee Mazzilli, pinch hitting for Ron Darling.
Maz, as a pinch hitter, has had 6 hits and 47 at bats, and he has driven in 4 runs. Overall, batting .219 with an on-base average of .365. And Roberge misses with his first pitch. That's a curveball grip right there. Doesn't throw it.
2-0 to Mazzilli.
Throws a split finger fastball. And he's an expert on beans and alfalfa sprouts.
Right, a health food addict, is he?
How about that? How would you like to be an expert on that? His family speaks French.
Well, I mean, wait a minute now. What is this beans and alfalfa sprout? Is he a health food addict, or does he grow them, or?
I don't know. Maybe he just looks at them, watches them grow.
If you watch them long enough, I guess you're classified as an expert, huh?
I wonder what qualifies you as an expert on watching. A week, a month, or a year?
Beans and alfalfa sprouts. I would imagine he's a health food addict. Not too many baseball players, and really to the detriment of their bodies, eat well enough, in my opinion.
Well, a lot of them are junk food eaters. You were telling me the story about the Russell brothers cooking on a hot plate, getting their hamburgers cooked in the hotel room.
One of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my life. The forkball, good play by Tejada. It's 3-2 to Mazzilli. Jose Cardinal used to talk about how Rick and Paul Russell, 2 pitchers for the Chicago Cubs and teammates of Jose's. Fair ball. So Mazzilli's going to have pinch hit number 7, but will it be a double? Yes.
So Lee gets a call from first base umpire Joe West as it crosses over the bag. It's a fair ball. Mazzilli on his way to second. A strong throw by Winningham, and the shortstop covering unable to handle it as it bounces away. Second base umpire John McSherry making the safe call, and Mazzilli coming up with his 3rd 2-base hit.
Dykstra 1 for 3 with a run scored. So the Russell brothers would take their little handy hamburger cooker, had hamburger helper in their suitcase, Fly ball left field, and I'm going to get this story out. You lead me into it. Now they start hitting the ball.
I got you there with one out. Now you had 2 outs.
The rest is up to you, right?
That's right.
They would take it. They would pack their hamburger helper, and they would pack that little griddle that just makes like one patty. And every night, Jose would say he'd go back to the room and he'd hear that thing sizzling next door. And these guys would come to the park the next day and complain about their weight. And Jose would say, well, if you'd quit eating hamburgers every night, they'd go out and buy the hamburger meat and
cook it in the room.
Cook them in the room. But ball players really are a lot of junk food eaters. And I think a lot can be done in the way of health food in the clubhouse and things like that.
I'll tell you one thing that surprised me this year. I went in the Masonette restaurant in Cincinnati, and it's one of the great restaurants in the country. And who did I see there but Len Dykstra?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
He was being helped out by Keith Hernandez. I'm sure Keith picked up the tab, but Keith took him in there.
Yeah. Boy, what a marvelous restaurant that is. 1-0 to Dykstra.
I asked him how he liked the food. He says, oh, that stuff is good.
Was it his first time in it?
First time ever.
First time in the Masonette, huh? French cooking. The fork ball is grounded to second. So Backman out of there. Robert survives a 1-out double by Mazzilli. No runs, a hit, 1 left. After 8, it's 6-1 New York, and we'll be back.
Where do smart players go? Players Club International. The experts who will show you how to have fun the smart way. Las Vegas, Atlantic City, the Caribbean. Players Club members are guaranteed to always save up to 60% on rooms, food and drinks, and even shows. Or maybe you just want to relax and play the course. Players members receive up to 50% savings at over 1,000 golf courses. And you can even use your card for airlines, car rentals, and cruises. Or for that smart getaway, save up to 50% off at over 8,000 hotels worldwide. Any way you want to play, the experts at Players Club can take care of you today. 1-800-964-4646. Call now for free information with absolutely no cost, no obligation on how you can play the smart way. Plus, new members receive a free Players Preferred package with over $150 in free money in comps. So call today.
Roger McDowell trying to finish it up for Ron Darling.
And he will not be in the save position. He's had 19 saves to go with a 13-7 record at 2.63 ERA. Roger has had 8 saves and a win in his last 11 outings and has saved 8 of the Mets' last 16 wins. Career-wise, Roger's 19 saves are 2 more than he had all last year, and his 66 appearances are 4 more than he had last year.
And 22, quite appropriate, huh? Since the magic number is 2.
Deuces are wild.
Yes, sir.
Roger leads the majors with 13 relief wins. Eichhorn of Toronto leads the American League with 12.
Mark Eichhorn, I've never seen him pitch, but I understand 1-1 to Winningham that he throws the ball slow, slower, and slowest.
They're tough. Stu Miller, the proponent of that sort of pitching.
Change off the change for a change. 2-1 to Winningham, 6-5 New York. 2-2 to Herm.
Roger in last night's ball game, and he had some problems. He only went 1/3 of an inning, was charged with 2 runs on 3 hits. Roscoe followed him and picked up the loss as Montreal rallied for enough runs in the 9th to win it.
Well, what a sinker that was. My goodness, that thing went down with 1 out.
One of the things about Roger McDowell is that he is better when he is tired. Sinker ball pitchers, when they're strong, flatten out that fastball, but when they're tired, they get that great movement on the ball.
That is so true. McDowell entered last night's ball game in one of his worst outings in a while, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in only 1/3 of an inning. Rivera went too far. Luis is 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in the 2nd, grounded to 3rd in the 5th, and walked in the 7th. Doug Sisk and Jesse Orozco up. Oh, and 2. And 2 to Luis Rivera. The Mets up by 5, trying to salvage this 3rd game, with the Expos winning the first 2 games of this series. Two and 2.
Tie Doug Sisk's record. His next appearance will be his 67th.
Doug did that back in 1983. Swing and a miss. 2 straight strikeouts for McDowell. One more chance for the Expos.
And again, it's a sinker. Good movement on the ball, and strikeout number 2.
Will Tejada, the batter. Will looking for his first major league hit. He's 0 for 4 in his career. 0 for 3 tonight, and it's 0-1.
Struck out his first 2 appearances in the major leagues last night, and his first time up tonight.
Swinging wildly at a McDowell fastball. 0-2 to Will Tejada.
David getting ready to pack him in, huh?
He's packing that tobacco for the trip. But he'll have to wait at least 1 pitch. It's 1-2 to Tejada. A little jam shot. Santana makes the catch. So McDowell is perfect, coming in and striking out 2, retiring all 3 batters here in the 9th. He does not get credit for a save. Ron Darling, however, wins his 13th game of the year. And Ralph, we talk about the Mets as a young pitching staff, but not in their teens. All of them in their teens, right?
Yes, sir. They're in their teens, like 13, 14, 15,
and
16.
Right. On cue. Ron Darling now 13-5, and the losing pitcher in his first major league start, Sergio Valdez. So Sergio, after a shaky first, pitched well, but the Mets, or I should say the Expos, could not solve the problem of Ron Darling. Ralph and I will be back with a wrap-up. Mets win it 6-1.
You're not with AT&T, are you?
No, I'm not.
So, are you happy?
Not really.
I was happier with AT&T. Well, we're making it simple to come back. How'd you like to get 100 free minutes just for switching to AT&T? That would be wonderful.
That's a real gift.
Well, there's a lot more. Introducing the new AT&T One Rate plan. Just 15 cents a minute on calls from home to anybody, anytime, anywhere in America.
That's great. It's a flat rate, anytime, anybody, anywhere.
I'm going to presume there's going to be a charge involved.
No, it's free.
It's even better.
No fees, no minimum spending, no time requirements, no restrictions, no games.
You can't beat that.
Call 1-800-YES-2-ATT. You'll get 1 low rate plus 100 free minutes for switching to AT&T. So what do you think?
I think the 100 free minutes is awesome.
The One Rate plan is excellent.
There's no restrictions, no limits.
So what are you going to do?
Pick up the phone and switch to AT&T.
One rate, 100 minutes. Call 1-800.
Participants, and not those of this network.
To impress the gentler set, one mustn't allow perspiration to run amok. Thus, new Right Guard Clear Stick, a new superior approach to powerful protection. All the wetness and odor protection of a white stick, now in a powerful clear stick. So clear, there's no flaky white stuff. Now perspiration hasn't a chance with this new advance. New Right Guard Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.